So, in analyzing all this, first study the variations of what has been the body temperament in thought, in food. 4. The body physical becomes that which is assimilated from the material nature. The body mental becomes that it assimilates from both the physical mental and the spiritual mental. The soul is all of that the entity is, has been, or may be. Then, who and what would the entity have to direct self in such experiences? To be loosed without a governor or a director may easily become harmful. But as we would give from here, let not such a director be that of an entity. Rather, so surround self with the universal consciousness of the Christ, as to be directed by that influence as may be committed to thee. Thus, the entity may use constructively that which has been attained. But to prevent physical harm, mental harm, attune self in body and in mind with that influence by which the entity seeks to be directed, not haphazardly, not by chance, but, as of old, choose thou this day whom ye will serve. The living God within thee, by thee, through thee, or through influences or knowledges without wisdom, that would enslave or empower thee with the material things which only gratify for the moment. Rather, choose thou as he of old. Let others do as they may, but as for thee, serve thou the living God. Thus, ye may constructively use that ability of spiritual attunement, which is the birthright of each soul. Ye may use it as a helpful influence in thy experiences in the earth. But make haste slowly. Prepare the body, prepare the mind, before ye attempt to loosen it in such manners that it may be taken upon a hold by those influences which constantly seek expressions such of self rather than of a living, constructive influence of a crucified Savior. Then crucify desire and self, that ye may be awakened to the real abilities of helpfulness that lie within the grasps. Ready for questions. Question 1. Is there at present any danger to any particular body function, such as sex, or to general health? Answer 1. As we have indicated, without preparation, desires of every nature may become so accentuated as to destroy, or to over-exercise as to bring detrimental forces, unless the desire and purpose is acknowledged and set in the influence of self as to its direction, when loosened by the Kundalini activity throughout the body. Question 2. Just what preparation would you advise for the body now? Answer 2. This should be rather the choice of the body from its own development, that from what any other individual entity or source might give. Purify the body, purify the mind, that the principle, the choice of ideals as made by the entity may be made manifest. Do whatever is required for this, whether the washing of the body, the surrounding with this or that influence, or that of whatever nature. As has been experienced, this opening of the centers or the raising of the life force may be brought about by certain characters of breathing. For, as indicated, the breath is power in itself, and this power may be directed to certain portions of the body. But for what purpose? As yet it has been only to see what will happen. Remember what curiosity did to the cat. Remember what curiosity did to Galileo, and what it did to Watt. But they used it in quite different directions in each case. Question 3. Considering the development of the entity, is further practice of the yoga exercise of breathing and meditation recommended? Answer 3. By all means, if and when, and only when, preparation has been made, and when there is the knowledge, the understanding, and the wisdom as to what to do with that gained. Without such, do not undertake the same. It is suggested here that through certain breathing exercises in conjunction with meditation, we, too, can read the Akasha, or that skein in time and space where the records of individuals are stored. The vibrations resulting from attunement with music have long-lasting effects. A woman who had worked with music for many lives was found to have an Akashic record in the form of a harp. For, as from the very shape, a harp, of the record itself, we find the entities creating or making, through many of the sojourns, those activities that make for one becoming so much more outstanding than the others that it becomes as a thread through the whole efforts of the entity. Another reading calls singing, quote, the pouring out of the soul, end of quote, and tells exactly how this may be made one with the ideal of service. Then by singing or pouring out the soul, not to be seen of others, not to satisfy alone self, one own laudation or even audition, but as to make through the application of self that channel which will bring to others something that is helpful and hopeful in their own experience. And this will bring to self, to others, contentment and peace and harmony, as little else can, not for self, for others. And some of the interesting information about the prehistoric Rata period in Egypt, during which time the Great Pyramids were being built, we are told that chants were used in the building of the structures. This points up the tremendous power of the vibration of the voice. In the building of the pyramids, the house of records, as well as the chamber in which the records are built in stone, these were put together by song. This is the entity learned as he did the chants upon the river. In order to utilize the singing voice to its optimum, it is necessary to have a healthy, well-balanced body. This is not hard to understand in view of the potential power with which we are dealing. One would-be singer asked how to develop a singing voice and was given a physical reading as a beginning. Question 2. How can the body develop its singing voice? Answer 2. First, be necessary that the body gain its perfect equilibrium physically, for with the conditions as has been described, as to that of the tissue involved through congestion, when these conditions are made, the blood flows truly and freely through these channels necessary for gaining that condition. Then require for self to reach that stage necessary for a success in this line. This then promotes forces that necessary in the individual, or as is termed from that same viewpoint, the urge, the necessary incentive for giving the best in creating the vocal forces as expressed through the sensory organism of the physical.